You played against Cristiano.
Yeah.
I remember Cristiano coming off.
That's the following year when we got promoted.
In the second year.
Second year, so I played there, and Ronaldo just came, and I'd seen him have his little cameo in the first game against both. 20 mil lollipops and all that. So I think we played your third game. You played centre half, actually, I think, weren't you? Yeah.
I knew you
can't remember. And you beat us 1-0. No, that was up at Old Trafford. That was the first game, and that was when I played against him the first time. And he was still learning the game then, Ronaldo. Like, he kind of, I don't know, it was okay. But I remember the return leg down at Molyneux in January, early January, and he went off to Portugal because the manager sent him off to Portugal so he could just, take a break from the Premier League and all that. He brought him back a week early so he could play against me. But he was still learning the game. I think we did. We actually beat you one.
You beat us 1-0.
Yeah, Kenny Miller scored.
We'll get back to Dennis in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And also, don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And if you've got something to say, if you need to get something off your chest, like saying that I talk nonsense, that's absolutely fine. Please put it in the comments. I can be your shoulder to cry on. Now, in this video, Denis Irwin is going to be talking about his time coming to an end at Manchester United. And this is a good example of how Alex Ferguson was really good at phasing some of the older pros out with grace and respect. Anyway, here's Dennis, and stick around for after the clip because I'm going to be giving my thoughts on this situation. Here's Dennis.
What happened at the end, Dennis? Obviously, you left and went to Wolves.
Yeah.
Did you think about sort of ending it at United and not go and play? I mean, because I got towards the end, and I think you did as well, where you just thought, I just don't want to play anywhere else. I've played so long.
Well, yeah, but you were one club man. I'd been around. That might have influenced you, I suppose. But no, it was the last year I was there, 01-02. I didn't play that many games for United. I was on the bench quite a lot because the manager could put me on the bench because I'd play right back or left back.
Who was playing then? Then obviously,
Mikel was there. Phil.
Yeah.
Phil was there. Some other brother was on the other side, hanging in there. And I didn't play that often. I just wanted another year. And it was when Watford were kind of throwing a bit of money around, but I didn't want to move like house or anything like that.
Was it hurting you not playing, Dennis? Having been
regular? Yeah. Because
and how old was you at that time?
So hard.
I was 36.
Wow.
36. So last year was hard for me, really hard. But you could see it coming because, I mean, it used to be great, the manager, so I'm leaving you out with this one, but you can play in that one in 4 weeks' time. So you kind of missed the smaller games at first and played the bigger games, and then it kind of flipped a little bit where you played the smaller, you shouldn't really say small games, every game is a big game at United, but you didn't play like some of the big games and all that. And then I didn't like it at all. And I asked him probably around January, February that I couldn't handle it and not to travel anymore, particularly down to London, because I just didn't want to be sub kind of thing. He was fine with it. It was really fine. So I knew
only you could have got away with that, Dennis.
Yeah.
Not many people. I don't want to travel to London and be subs.
Well, it wasn't just London.
Midlands, we are.
It wasn't quite London, but it was just in general. It was really hard. Having spent like the whole of my career kind of playing, and I just needed another year just to. It depended who came in for me, and I remember I played. Back in the days when players played reserve games, I played a reserve game against Liverpool out in Southport.
Hey, Gavin, you.
Big pitch that is, by the way. And Dave, at my age, I was 36. And Dave Jones was out there just looking at, and I went down there for 2 years. I was a Wolves fan growing up.
Yeah. How did that happen?
I don't know. No, there was the team I used to play for. There was another lad who became a Wolves fan. Wolves were okay in the 70s. They won a couple of trophies, 74. Yeah. Kenny Hibbett and John Richards. You remember those?
Front,
John Richards up front. And then Andy Gray in 1980. So
Wolves gave you a 2-year deal. Would you have been happy with
Give me a year deal.
Oh, a year, right.
Give me a year deal. And they just instantly came down the same time as me. And they just fallen short the year before and they wanted a bit of experience. And I loved it down there. I really loved it. I played first year. How many games I played in the first season there?
Everyone.
53.
Wow.
36.
37.
37,
Wow.
sorry, Dennis.
53 games I played.
Yeah, a lot has been made of Alex Ferguson and how he deals with older pros. There's been some high-profile examples of big personalities leaving Manchester United under a cloud. Obviously, the clear example is Roy Keane. Big bust-up. He was basically sacked, and Roy Keane has been quite bitter about it ever since, which has been well documented. Ruud van Nistelrooy, he's another one. He went and left Manchester United under a cloud. Big bust up with Alex Ferguson in the League Cup final, where he told him to, well, F off, basically. And that didn't end nicely. But I'm glad to see that they've actually made up, and Ruud has actually apologised about that. He felt as though that it was very unprofessional the way he handled that situation, despite him not being happy. But still, they've reconciled. David Beckham is another example of how the relationship just broke down. That was sad. But again, they kind of made up. But for all of those high-profile examples, there's been a lot of examples where players have just been kind of phased out gracefully and respectfully. Denis Irwin is a prime example. And yeah, he mentioned there that towards the end of his career, he would allow him to miss certain games, some of the smaller games, and he'd save him for the bigger games. And then once he was no longer as effective in the bigger games, he'd play him in the smaller games instead. And he just respectfully let him do that. And also, if he didn't want to travel somewhere, Alex Ferguson would say, yeah, no problem at all. That's absolutely fine. And that's just, I mean, what that says to me is Alex Ferguson was very good with players who, didn't challenge him too much. Because Alex Ferguson's natural inclination was to respect the player. It was only when the players were disrespectful to Alex Ferguson or disrespectful in general in his eyes and became detrimental to the team where players just kind of cut out of the team altogether and sold and whatnot. And Brian Robson was another good example. He did the same thing with him as well. Gary Neville, he did the exact same thing with Gary Neville. He would pick and choose when to play him. Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, they were regularly alternated with players like Phil Jones, Johnny Evans, during the final years of Alex Ferguson's career at Manchester United, because he understood that players' bodies break down and it takes a lot longer for them to recover, so you need to sort of chop and change and manage your squad. So it's nice to see that Denis Irwin wasn't sort of treated with any kind of disrespect there, and it was also really funny to hear that he thinks he brought Cristiano back to play against Denis Irwin, giving something to think about one afternoon. But yeah, that was really nice, and it was really nice that Denis Irwin got to finish his career at the club that he supported, and he got a good couple of years there at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So that's really nice to know, because Denis Irwin has to be one of my favourite all-time players at Manchester United. Phenomenal player, phenomenal pro, big game player, one of the greats. Denis Irwin, God bless. If you like this video, please put your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Denis Irwin? Do you think he was phased out respectfully? Do you think Alex Ferguson handled the careers of the big pros as they were winding down? Did he handle them in a respectful manner? If you disagree with what I'm saying here, please put it in the comments. And if you've gotten this far, you are clearly interested in what I've got to say. So because of that, I respectfully would like to hear what you have got to say too. So all your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.